you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Good morning. Your host, Brother Al Mims, soloing again. This is New Orleans Talk Radio, Hostages That Fight Back. And you can reach us at 504-341-8255. 504-341-8255. This morning, we're going to go right to it. Looks like this bad news travels fast. We have, in Texas, there was a whole congregation slaughtered. And the worst part of it was children, babies. I think it was a 15-month-old baby, and I just want to talk to you. And what do you think about what's going on? It's happening on too frequently now, and that the place of worship has become a place of slaughter now. If you're not safe in the church, where are you safe at now? Now there are people who are uncomfortable, and I spoke to a lot of people that said that they don't feel comfortable at church anymore. So what is your take on it? I would like your opinion on the circumstances at 504-341-8255. But first of all, I want to also remind our listening audience that hostages that fight back, that we may be hostages, but we're not going away or going peacefully. We're gonna make some noise. We're gonna move some furniture, and that's what I think that people in our community things, because they say you're a Christian, that you're a spiritual person. That means that you're a pushover. You are scared. You can be intimidated. And I often remind people that a guy asked me one time. He said, "Brother Mims, are you a Christian?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "If I slap you, you're going to turn the other cheek?" And I told him quickly, I said, "I haven't got to that point yet. You don't want to do that." So, I think that some of us say, then Christianity means that you are intimidated, you're afraid, you got to walk away and, walk softly and carry a big stick. Well, first of all, if you believed in Jesus, and I'm a believer of Jesus, that you had to have a lot of nerve. You had to have a lot of love to go to the cross. We talk about love. That's the ultimate love, and a lot of us, we talk about Christianity and talk about sacrifice, but really, many of us had not exhibited that in our community. And I see, and I'm not beating up on anybody, but I see sometimes as I walk in my neighborhood, I see people who go to church. Every time the church door opens, Bible study, midweek service, and everything. But those are some of the people that I got issues with, because they don't speak to nobody. There's circumstances and situations that are going on in my community, or our community, that we all should be part of the solution, and they don't want to hear about it, because part of the problem is they don't want to deal with it. And some of their children are the problem. Some of their children are raping our community. They're selling drugs. They're disrespectful. But they don't want nobody to tell their children nothing. And then when they get in trouble, then they want somebody to say, my child, my child, my child. And most of them are single mothers. I tell people, and I made a call this morning. A mother wanted me to talk to her son about his drug problem, and I haven't talked to him yet. Every time I call, she knows who I'm talking about. If she's listening, I'm not mad with her, but she pampering her son. She got a son. He's almost 40 years old, and she's in her 60s, and she taking care of him. Well, she don't want to listen. She said she wants somebody to talk to him. I'm not here to pamper him. I'm not going to beat up on him, but I'm going to tell him, first of all, he a grown man. And as long as he, he come out, I'm a man, I'm a man. No, you're not a man. You may be older, but you're living with your mama, and you're taking advantage of your mama. So with all that said, I want to talk about, and I ask my listening audience again to chime in on the massacre in Texas. What are your take on it? I know that what's how do you feel at the church of your that you go to? Do you feel safe? There are many churches that have working on if they didn't have a security plan in place, they are working on something now, and there's no perfect plan because there are a lot of people who I think that either they sick, they sin sick with hate, or they sick. They got some sick people. We living in a sick world, and so but I'm not going to let intimidation stop me from worshiping. I'm going to go to my place of worship, and and I'm gonna trust God. And if I have to confront aggression or some outsider or somebody, I'm gonna deal with it as I deal. And so I'm not Superman, but I'm not afraid to stand on the word. So again, I want to talk to the my listening audience on what do you want to talk about? What do you think what do you feel about the direction that our country spiritually, economically, morally are going? I would like to see what you have to say. Um, you know, um, we are in trouble. We truly have some issues. We got a president. I was listening to the news last night when it was saying that his popularity is at its lowest point. But then I see some of the other presidents in history. They have already they had the same situation as far as the lowest ratings and popularity, and they won re-election. You mean to tell me that you say that this guy is crazy, but you would elect him at a drop of a hat again, do the same thing? That's kind of crazy. Ludicrous or craziness is doing the same thing and expecting things to change. We have a president, and I hate to say that, president that has no understanding, no character, no politeness, no nothing, and he doesn't get better. And he tweets, and tweets. The man brings a new meaning to tweeting. You know, so again, I want the New Orleans public to know, and there's some other statewide propositions that we should do our homework because we got until the 16th of November that we're going to elect, historically, we're going to elect a female mayor. And so they're going to be carrying us until the next, to what, the 300th anniversary of New Orleans. And what's your take on it? Who you leaning toward, or who you think that has the qualifications, Charbonnet or Cantrell? And then we still got some judgeships in the criminal, the civil court race. They have the part is open uh, for treasurer and several other proposals. And I want to say, what do you think about the sewage and water board? All this money, this emergency money that has been spent over the last 2 months since August 5th flood. There's been stories consistently coming out about the sewage and water board. What do you think? What do you think your take on? I think somebody should be in jail. Somebody from the penthouse to the outhouse. Somebody that took some money and ran or they misappropriated. They don't have the trucks. They don't have the equipment. But where's the money? somebody did a magician, a Houdini act. Somebody took the money and ran, and it's a sad situation that I saw a man on TV on the news editions he's a businessman in one of the areas. He was out, cleaning the catch basins out. Where's his tax money? We supposed to have crews that's supposed to be taking care of this, and he's down there, and it's a restaurant. I'm not going to say a name or the location of the restaurant, but that's not the way it's supposed to be done. So I think that there's emergency meeting at City Hall today at 10 o'clock. Yes, it's right. It's about right. It's an emergency meeting with the city council. Now, what I would like to tell those people who represent us in the different districts, what have y'all been doing for the last 4 years for it to get to where it's at now? What I'm saying is, it seemed like it had to get to epidemic before y'all know as much about what's going on in the Sewage and Water Board as the people that you're supposed to represent. And when they call y'all for answers and y'all don't know, y'all calling the mayor for answers and he don't know. We're in trouble. And I thank God, I want to say thank God for God that he didn't let any storms come this way. I mean, hurricanes like Irma or the other storms, because we wasn't ready. We had a false sense of security. We wasn't ready for a rainstorm, let alone a hurricane. We just got to do better, and I hear many of the public say that, I'm not going to vote for anybody because they're all going to be stealing. They all are crooks. I don't have no problem with your opinion, but you still got to vote. There's too much at stake, especially the next 4 years. It's going to be very important that we vote, and I just want to let the people know. Okay, we're going to go and take our first break, and Brother Mims will be back with you with HostageThat Fights Back.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Hi, this is Jill Samuels with Faith That Works. Join us every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time and 12 noon on New Orleans Talk Network as we change the lives of people with the Word of God by equipping the body of Christ to evangelize the world while reconciling people back to God. Let us continue to carry the water to the desert because Jesus is the living water.
Stop this hauling water to the sea.
Join in on Mondays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. for Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry. There are no limitations or boundaries. We talk about life, and guess what? That includes you. So download the app today, New Orleans Talk Network, and subscribe on YouTube. That's every Monday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. New Orleans Talk Network, Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Good morning, and we're back with Brother Al Mims and HostageThat Fight Back. I want to make a quick shout out while I'm thinking about it to Sister Patricia Fry. I want to thank her for her ministry and thank her for her prayers. I gave a testimony last night that a situation happened and it was foretold to me, and it's real. And I just want to thank her for what she does and who she is. We want to ask our listening audience, you can reach us at 504-341-8255, 341-8255. That's 504. Again, the majority of our public, our free country is concerned. We had another tragedy, and they come in too frequent. That what happened in Texas with this small congregation was slaughtered, and when I think about the overwhelming majority of the casualties were children, and we see this all too often. We can't take this thing lightly. We can't take it for granted because it stays on your mind because every time you turn on the radio, you turn on the TV, you pick up the newspaper. There's some tragedies, I see in New Orleans East, this grandmother's been missing for, I think it's about maybe a month in New Orleans East, and they found her car, but not her. There was a gentleman's body was found in New Orleans East on the highway. When I look at and see how, the circumstances and situations that's going on in our community, and then when we turn even to our spiritual leaders, we got problems in that community. We have problems there. I always say to my friends, my minister friends, that the devil don't take no sabbaticals. He don't take no time off, no vacations. He's an opportunist, and it's real. And I think that we're gonna have to stay on the battlefield, put our heads to the grindstone 24/7 because we have trouble in our homes. The church is under attack. If we don't know it, let me tell you that it's a new ball game. We already statistically shows that membership is down in most churches, and the young people, they don't see no hope or no light. They don't see no reason to go to church, and our elders. We're slowly going, to see Jesus. We're retiring, but who's going to take our place? And that's the thing. If nobody's there to take our place, like I told a friend of mine that my mother and my father brought me to Christ, and I do know Him. Since I was 7 years old, and my brothers were 6, and my brother was 5. We went to Christ, but the first exposure that we had to spirituality was my daddy and my mother. It wasn't my minister, Reverend McGarry, and he's gone on about 5-6 years ago. But I saw my daddy, my father, pray. I saw him give a promise, and he kept 99% of the time. He kept his promise. But so spirituality is not just praying. It's not just testifying. It's being a witness and being who you say you are and do what you say you're going to do. Many of our young people don't have that. I know Jesus set the perfect example, and he's a mentor. He's a role model. But we have to see it in our homes. We have to see it on our streets. And what I'm seeing is that many of the kids in our communities, they see negative. So much they're bombarded with so much negativeness that there's no hope. A hopeless people is a dangerous person. This morning when I was on the way to the show, that there were some kids, about 5 or 6 of them, girls and boys. They were ranging in age like from 8 and 9 years old to like 12. Maybe the oldest one was 12, and they were walking in the streets with their back to the traffic. And I spoke to them and said, "Good morning, young people." I said, "You may want to get out of the streets, because if a car comes down there, they may hit you and they're not going to stop." Now, I had to use a technique on them, because sometimes kids, they don't like to be told what they shouldn't do, they can't do. So, you can get your point across, but you got to be tactful. So, they were very polite and very mannerable. What I'm saying is a lot of our children are not being taught, to not walk with your back turned to traffic. What about looking both ways when you cross the street? Most of the kids, they're crossing a congested traffic area. They're not looking both ways. They figure the car gonna stop, and that's what some of the problems are happening. We're not being taught. Many of our kids are not being passed the wisdom, the wisdom that we had. We don't have the same opportunities. The kids don't have the same opportunities that we afforded. Our mothers, my mother, and other people's mothers, they gone on to glory, but they told us, and they shared with us, and they showed us by example. They showed us by actions that you're gonna do what I see. And there was no arguing. There was no debate about it. It was their way or no way. So, what I see now, there's a lot of conflict, a lot of problems in the homes. And what's going on in the home goes into the community, goes into our city, because they're going to bring it out. When they walk out of that door, then there's nobody. People are afraid to tell kids something. They're scared they're going to cuss them out. If that's the only reason, if that's the only thing the kids are going to do me, then we're going to go at it. We're going to go for it. I'm going to talk to you. Because if something should happen, God forbidden, if I woulda, coulda, shoulda, if that's all they can say, then I'm going to I'm gonna go at it. So with that said, I just wanted to chime in this morning to our listening audience. If there's anybody out there that would like to, what would you like to discuss this morning? I'm open for suggestions. I'm open for a debate, but when you talk about it, I want to talk about some solutions, not just talk about the problem, because the problem is going to be a problem until we offer some solutions. And when I say that, many times people are not going to like the solutions, because that means that you got to do something, you got to get involved, you got to change, and a lot of us, don't want to change. I tell many times, look in a mirror and look what's looking back at you. You. And sometimes, we are the problem. I hear too many grown-ups, they go to church and, they testify and how much they love the Lord and, what Jesus done for them. But the moment they leave the church in front of the pastors and the deacons and other people, they, it's full of words. They cuss like a sailor. They real loose with their personality. And I say to myself, is that the same person that we saw? Is that the same person that I talked to? Is that the same person that gave that testimony? Is that real? But sometimes what you see is what you get, And so you want to know why our kids are in trouble? Because of us, many of us. I see too many times that their parents and the dad and the mom is there, and I look at the dad who's in his 40s and 50s, sometimes 60s. He got his pants hanging down. He's sagging. The mama got on, clothes that is not appropriate, not becoming to her. She's too old. She's older. The hairstyle, she got, what happened to, being polite, We're going to go into our second break, and this is Brother Al Mims, HostageThat Fight Back. I'm asking you to give me a call at 504-341-8255 and tell me what you want to talk about.
To live stream your next event, give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on a golf course that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready, because the conversation will be hot, and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app, available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
And this is Brother Al Mims. That's HostageThat Fight Back. I just wanted to say that I wanted to talk about some of the issues that's from front page news that, we want to know why things are happening. While we were on a break, I was thinking that most of the music that our teenagers and our young people listen to, even babies, and some of us let them, it's about killing, shooting, destroying or hurting somebody. Love is, love don't hurt. I remember when we were coming up, the Motown sound. We talked about the Supreme, stop in the name of love. Before you break our love, think it over. The Temptations, Ball of Confusion, Just My Imagination, running away with me. I want to go out. Well, there's even the Dramatics. I want to go outside in the rain. David Ruffin. I wish it would rain. But now, you actually the kid walking down the street or sitting down, profanity. We're bombarded with profanity, violence. Even some of the games that we watch, what our kids are doing, they how many people or how many things that you can kill or you can eat, it's always connected to violence. And we want to know about why the skyrocketing of violence. I think we have a caller on line one. Caller, good morning. Would you identify yourself?
Good morning. This is Steven.
Good morning. How are you doing? What would you like to talk about, my brother?
I want to pose a question. That will go towards the topic of pretty much this. Why hasn't the morals been passed down from the past generation to this generation as much? I mean, I know my parents they instilled me the morals that I live by today, and I'm passing it on to my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
As she grows up now. But why has morals gone to the wayside?
Well, let me tell you something, my brother. I appreciate that's an excellent question. Let me give it to you. If you may, how old are you?
I'm 35. If you don't recognize the voice.
Oh yeah, I know the voice. Yeah, let me say this to you. Excellent question. And what you're saying is, let me say this. Let's not throw everything away. We all have, like you said, moral. It looks like sometimes the people who doing all the right things, it's kind of like they forgot about us. We out here fighting. We doing all the right thing, but we've been bombarded. It look like bad news travels. Nobody talked. What about the guy that's doing all the right things, that's taking care of his daughter and his sons and his family? They don't talk about us, huh?
Oh no. I remember watching a quick clip on Facebook, and they had a teacher that wrote like 5 multiplication problems on a board.
Mm-hmm.
The first problem he wrote the wrong answer on purpose, but the other 4 answers he wrote right.
Mm-hmm.
And his students were laughing and everything, kind of acting joked out because they noticed that the first one was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher was making a statement and saying, "Shoot, everybody likes to point out that wrong answer, but never want to give credit for the other 4 that was right." We always want to. Basically, always trying to find fault in something when we don't give credit to the positive.
Well, it's amazing. I see it so much. It looks like people like to have a joke. They want to laugh and try to embarrass you. And I see it even in some of the churches and bad news. It looks like people. And even some of the people that you try to help, my brother, they seem like they bad news, foolishness. Good is bad and bad is good now. So sometimes. But let me say this to you, my friend. You're not the Lone Ranger. You are not by yourself. You are the devil or the spiritual forces that are being. They are really spiritual, negative evilness in this city, in this world, in this city, in our neighborhoods, in our country. But they are good people that's fighting like yourself. So what I'm saying to you is, I commend you for making this call and speaking about, why. Because sometimes, look, I'm a little older than you. I'll be wondering why, and then the other side is that, the evil don't want you to think that what you're doing has no place in our society, and that you nobody cares, and that's a lie. Because guess what, bro? Sometimes you look around and you be looking for somebody who look like you, and there are a lot of people. Now, a lot of people not aggressive. So there are people like yourself who they don't speak out a lot, because it takes a lot for you to speak, to call this show and to speak out and to raise your family. But just if you just stand, a lot of times people ain't gonna speak out, but they'll join you, they'll support you. But sometimes we just gotta. Everybody's not leadership. Everybody's not gonna be, the speak outer, and they're not a spokesman, but they will support. They know right from wrong. So I don't want you to think that you're not making a difference. Am I clear?
Yes, it's very clear.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And there is some. I guess at certain points it's frustrating to because it seems like when you try to make a positive impact on your community, you're met with so many forces to try to push back aside.
Story of my life. Have you heard the saying from the Word of God? Every time you try to do right, evil's on every hand. You ever tried, and sometimes you feel like you're by yourself, that you're doing right. By that you're doing right, but you look around, they look like nobody wants to help you. Nobody on your side. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
But sometimes, bro, let me say the other side of that. Sometimes you got to stand by yourself, bro. Sometimes you got to stand by yourself, and sometimes, bro, you stand against family members. Look, we got another caller on line 2. Say, bro, you give me a holler at 504-914-1622, and we'll talk. Here, I love you, man. Here, 504-914-1622, Brother Mims. We'll talk. Here, now it's got two. You and I, we was a long range, and now we turned to a long range. Okay. Peace.
All right, peace.
All right, caller on line 2. Will you identify yourself? Good morning.
Miss Jones, good morning to you and to the audience.
Sister Jones, first of all, I want to say this. You have a calm spirit, and, I've been talking about evilness and all the stuff that's going on. I'm just going to let you have your way. Good morning. How are you doing? What you think was going on?
Good morning. Yes, it should be a God's way to the previous caller. I hope he's listening. It's just as it said in the Bible. Make good wrong, make good bad, bad good. Change it. But stand if you have to stand to be a Lone Ranger, because usually if it's popular, whatever it is popular, it's poison. It's poison.
Can I use that, Sister Jones? I can use that. If it's popular, it's poison. I never heard nobody say it before.
And the biggest thing about it now is social media. Mm-hmm. There was an old-time comedian from way back, Martha Ray, and she said television would ruin this country.
Yes.
And it certainly is happening. It's more than TV, the Internet, all the technology is misused, and the people are going to see And if you're growing up to 6 years old, they're going to absorb a whole lot of things, wrong things. And you have grandparents who are young, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
They came up in a time seeing a whole lot of junk. But there still are people. There are still people who hold some kind of moral value. You don't have to be rich to have manners, table manners.
Yes, ma'am.
And talk with each other like, you know, the way you want to be talked to and treated, too. But,
Sister Jones, I wanted to let you know that I was raised, we didn't get a TV until I was like 10 years old. And, you know, we were mystified by, you know, Ed Sullivan Show and everything, saw the Supremes and all some of the comedians and some of the people that, you know, Ed Sullivan Show was a show we saw every Sunday. But what I'm saying is, you're right, we had radio and we listened to the gospel. We listened to Al Gouria and some of the people going on, Cham Clark, some of the people that gone on to glory. But the radio was a thing that, you know, our mothers and grandmothers, you didn't touch that dial. I'm listening to my gospel.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with it. And that's another thing, you know, the way they've done some ways in singing a gospel is it's taken away the meaning of it. Sound a lot so secular.
Yes, ma'am.
But the majority of it, contemporary, really is all right if it's to communicate with a generation after us. But also the generation now should listen to some of the old way, because the old way was a way our people had listening to calm and keep them calm. Didn't need a psychologist.
Yes. I remember the song, Give Me That Old Time Religion. My mother, there's a lot of songs we need to go back and teach the young people what the old time, what the great grandmothers sung, because a lot of them don't have a clue, you know.
Exactly, they don't have a clue because, and you know, he asked why didn't they pass that information down about being courteous to one another. People have done it, but it's that they've gotten drowned out. They know it's there.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a matter. Listen to somebody who's telling you the right thing, not the contemporary. Just because you don't conform doesn't mean that you're outdated or not in fashion.
Well, I want to say, too, I don't want to embarrass you, Sister Jones, but I want to thank you for all the time that you stood up. And Sister Jones, and she ain't big as a flea. And I'm not making fun of you, Sister Jones, but she got a heart that you couldn't put in a giant's chest. She has been there when they got, wherever they got fire at, Sister Jones gonna be there. Matter of fact, she's a fire. And she has spoken out. She done put her life on the line. She done put her livelihood. She done put her freedom. Because when somebody wants to lock you up or hurt you because you tell them the truth, Sister Jones, that's pretty much what Jesus did, huh?
Exactly.
You know,
But this young man who called, just hold tight. Always listen to somebody, your historians that are walking around now.
Yes.
That are still with us. They could tell you, because just because I say it's popular doesn't mean it's good. Sometimes if it's popular, it's poison.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, Sister Jones, what do you think about the Texas, killing? I know, and I think about the children, the babies.
Yes, it's always a very sad situation to hear this and to see this happen, no matter what, whom. The system itself, they argue on whether to have weapons, whether not to have it. You have people who this was a disgruntled man coming out of with the Air Force, and you don't know what really happened, what transpired, and then when he was I think Air Force or Marine Corps.
Yes, well, I think the Air Force, and I'm not a lawyer, but I worked for the civil sheriff, and legally they're going to be held accountable. And financially, they can, and I ain't going to bring back the family, but
right.
They messed up, and people suffered because there's no way he was supposed to be able to get those guns. And I still see, like you said, Sister Jones, every time something happens, our president, your president, he always saying, well, that's just, it's a mental illness and this and this and this. They're always making excuses.
Any excuse. It just was so tragic. He had visited a lady, one of the four husbands, but a couple of weeks ago. It's a pity he didn't visit her via telephone. He's sick. He's gone.
That's right.
Anybody who supports him is sicker than he is because at least he has a reason. What's your reason?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, Sister Jones, and I'll say it, and one day I'm going to invite you. You can call from your residence just to talk about we talk about some solutions. What you see now, when I say solutions, Sister Jones, everybody's not going to like it because that means you got to change. You got to get involved. And you always said, when I've been listening to you for years, and you always bring about change or suggestions, and that means some people don't want to change. They want confusion. They want hatred, and it's not like you said. You're not a mathematician, but you always talk about change and what we can do.
Try. The number one thing, economically, all the monies, all the resources. Why do you have people homeless with houses vacant? There must be something deeper that's going on in Washington. And it was before the last 8 years, too.
Well, I'm looking at it, and I said it earlier, Sister Jones. What about the Sewage and Water Board? All this money that come up, they neglected the catch basins. They got catch basins that they don't do nothing. So all this, somebody got some money. If Ray Nagin went to jail,
many others should have been right along with him.
Yeah, but look, don't say it. I ain't said it. Mitch should be in jail too because. And I see that they're supposed to be having a meeting this morning, and I would like to be there. But because the Sewage and Water Board and the City Council, y'all done let this thing get out of the way. Sister Jones, we only got 5 minutes left.
Could I? Now they're working 24/7, and you can't put the quality into what they're doing. Somewhere you're going to have a lot of errors, with the physical part of what they're doing to the drain. They've gotten so far out of hand, and they're sitting up there now. They're working, like I say, 24/7, probably 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning, too.
Sister Jones, I want to thank you for calling in. We got one more caller in. I'll look forward to talking to you. I love you much. Here?
I love you all in it.
All right.
Hold tight, young man, whoever you are, and many others. Pass it on. You don't have to do what everybody else does.
Thank you. We got a call on line 1. I think Capitan.
Super Mims.
Hey, my brother from another mother. Hey, like old times, bro.
Yes, it is. I see you're flying around making everybody happy. That's good.
Hey, bro, hostages that fight, the original hostages that fight back.
Absolutely.
My brother from another mother.
I'm fighting gluten-free bigotry.
Yes,
I'm fighting racism. I'm fighting conservative bigotry. Brother, I'm fighting it all. Because guess what? When you're a Hebrew, only thing you get in Pharaoh's land is that which you fight for.
Yes. But look, what you got for us, Cap? Would you first tell them what you're going to be doing on the 16th of September?
In conjunction with people all over the country, I will be sleeping outside to raise money.
Outside in the rain on the sidewalk?
Homeless juveniles. And I think we need to note that per capita, by our population numbers,
okay,
it should come as no surprise that most of the juveniles who find themselves homeless are black.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't matter what the color of the child is, who doesn't have a roof over his head or food to eat, but charity begins at home, and this is definitely an issue that we need to be laser focused upon. So, November 16th, I will be having my superhero sleep out in conjunction with the National Sleep Out America fundraiser for Covenant House.
Yeah.
I will be sleeping in front of the Spotted Cat on the corner of St. Claude and St. Rock here in the real life Gotham City, known as New Orleans.
If there's any number or any where they can contact you if they want to give any contributions or anything,
if you go to Covenant House, just Google that name, and you can type in CAP Black, and that'll take you to my fundraising page. And I want to thank everybody who donated. I actually made my goal yesterday, Super Mims.
Yes.
I'm $20 over, counting, at my goal of $200. I'm now at $220, which will be donated to Covenant House. So thank you to those who gave. Thank you in advance to those who will be sleeping outside with. We cannot be indifferent to homelessness nor impotent in the face of crime and call ourselves free and or believers in God.
Hey man, let me tell you something, bro. You're my brother from another mother, and I appreciate you. I got your back. You got mine.
Mm-hmm.
Call me if you need me. I keep a can of whoop behind with me and all the other things that go along with it.
I close with this.
Go ahead on.
Well, Latoya Cantrell for mayor.
Wait, say that again. Say it again.
Vote Latoya Cantrell for mayor.
For mayor.
Nothing against anybody else, but I'm all in for her.
That's right. And Cap, can I say I also? So listen, Cap, we're gonna thank you. We're gonna thank you, bro. All right.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, man. Peace, bro. I'll see you in a little bit. Yeah. All right. This is Brother Al Mims. That will be signing off till next week, and we will look for you to call us at 504-341-8255. We thank you, Lord. We thank you in Jesus' name.